about that. We have just drafted this. But once I read it out, then we would welcome some comments. We're not going to do detailed editing here. It's not possible. So we would just request people to listen carefully and then just flag if there are issues that you feel should be included or have been left out, or there's some language that you find problematic. But we would like to make this as constructive process as possible in the short time frame. So I am going to read it as slowly as possible, which is going to take a little longer, so please bear with us. Habitat International Coalition, the global movement of over 400 members working for the human rights to habitat, land, housing, and related rights, was formed at the Great Convergence at the first Habitat Conference in Vancouver in 1976. Over the past 40 years, HIC has remained inspired by and committed to upholding human rights and developing the habitat agenda to meet habitat challenges of the day. At this Habitat 3 conference, we all come together once again at a crisis point. Our human habitat currently faces a multitude of converging crises. The breakdown of political institutions, flagrant disrespect for human rights and principles of international law, unprecedented waves of displacement, migration, and refugee flows, unregulated markets and cyclical financial crises, ominous climate change, disparity of wealth and income that is greater now than ever in recorded history, inadequate food systems and nutrition, population explosion in the absence of adequate policy discussion, insufficient decent work opportunities, and unbalanced urbanization that both drives and embodies these crises and challenges. The outcome document of Habitat 3 should be a global agenda equipped to meeting and resolving the challenges and crises facing human habitat. However, with the loss of the scope and concept of the human habitat, this new urban agenda, conceived as guidance only for urbanization, addresses only a part of the habitat challenge faced by the world today.
We're going to put it on the screen, okay?
Can people see? Okay, it's not getting bigger than this. Sorry. Can people see? I'm sorry, it's really small, but it's better than nothing. Yeah. The habitat process, however, at its inception, reflected the 1972 Stockholm realization that we belong to a single planet. We are one, inescapably one. It provided a hopeful sign that we had reached a moment at which morality, self-interest, and evidence-based knowledge coincided to guide necessary action that meant a change of behavior. We recall the spirit of Vancouver and the commitments made in Istanbul, but without an evaluation of the implementation of those commitments, this habitat process would not build on what came before. For example, the Vancouver Plan of Action especially recognized that the ideologies of states are reflected in their human settlement policies. These being powerful instruments for change, they must not be used to dispossess people from their homes and their land, or to entrench privilege and exploitation. We only need to look around us to find that this warning has gone largely unheeded. In fact, the global crises tell us that the 2016 New Urban Agenda has not begun to address this political reality. The promised new era eludes us still, and the world is grossly out of balance. As the Habitat 1 visionary Barbara Ward also warned the Vancouver plenary, where private interest tips the balance, we are deferring the costs and correctives to future generations. On the eve of Habitat 3, HIC calls upon all states to uphold their Habitat 1 and 2 commitments and their human rights obligations. While the Habitat 3 outcome document includes some positive text and developments, it largely ignores the historic commitments made in Vancouver and Istanbul, including to prevent and remedy forced evictions, combat homelessness, and to achieve the progressive fulfillment of the human right to adequate housing. In essence, Habitat 3 has narrowed the Habitat Agenda scope, as also reflected in its title, New Urban Agenda. It also posits a worldview of the future being exclusively urban without addressing structural causes of unbalanced urbanization or attempting to address them. Critical issues like food production and farmers' rights, the crucial role of the social solidarity and care economy, regulation of financial and housing markets, land grabbing and protection of land rights, and the need to question the current macroeconomic framework that promotes the violation of human rights have not been adequately addressed. Explicit references to the need to strengthen democratic institutions have been removed from previous drafts. While HIC welcomes the inclusion of special attention to countries and territories under foreign occupation, this agenda offers no effective measure to resolve this crisis. We are concerned also about the omission of key constituencies such as LGBTQI and the neglect of half of humanity that is still rural and often pays the price for uncontrolled and resource-intensive urbanization. This does not align with the commitment of the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda to leave no one behind. The absence of an accountability and reparations framework in the New Urban Agenda, especially for victims of forced evictions, displacement, war, occupation, and protracted crises, is also a grave shortcoming. It is perhaps too late to change the text of the New Urban Agenda, but in order for it to be meaningful and truly transformational, it must adopt the human rights framework in its implementation and monitoring. This necessitates the development of human rights indicators linked with existing international human rights standards and legal obligations of states in order to achieve sustainable development for both urban and rural areas and to end poverty in all its forms. Otherwise, the agenda will remain an aspirational document without any incentive to implement it or mechanism to monitor and evaluate progress. Effective implementation, monitoring, and evaluation should align with international human rights and humanitarian law and standards, including the 2030 Agenda and the Paris Agreement. The Habitat process also needs to be integrated with other UN human rights mechanisms. As we create our collective vision for the future, beyond Habitat 3, HIC reiterates the need for states to implement their international legal and human rights obligations and commitments, actively consult with and involve civil society, people's movements, and democratic local governments, adopt a just macroeconomic order as pledged in Habitat 2, and incorporate and implement human rights principles of environmental sustainability, gender equality, non-discrimination, accountability, reparations for harm done, intergenerational equity with a strong focus on the rights of children, youth, and older persons, as well as persons with disabilities, sexual minorities, indigenous peoples, small farmers, peasants, forest dwellers, and fishers, among others. HIC, along with other social movements, civil society organizations, and community groups around the world, reaffirms its commitment to continue to struggle and advocate for a human rights habitat and the right to the city in a better world, irrespective of and beyond the habitat process and state authorization. We still seek real, community-based, and people-centered solutions to the multiple crises facing human habitat, so that the costs and correctives are not deferred to today's youth and future generations.